from this year's general election. Now, the premise for this discussion is the current Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke saying that BVAS helped him in last year's election 2022. We know that it was after that then we had this year's general election. So BVAS had been deployed from last year's also up-season elections in Osun and some other states as well. He said he would have been rigged out again if INEC did not use BVAS in the 2022 elections. He said he won the 2018 governorship elections. His mandate was stolen, but he chose to ignore it and better himself in order to return in 2022 and contest with greater capacity. Right now, this brings us to some of the major issues, the major, judgments, judicial cases that stemmed from as a result of the 2023 general elections. In light of what Governor Adeleke is saying, that he's one person who benefited from the introduction of BVAS in the country. He said he even went to former President Muhammadu Buhari to thank him for deploying BVAS as it helped him greatly. Right. Let's go to some judgments, which also centers around the election, which centers around BVAS and others like that. Because in some cases, when one person is saying this is a good development, the introduction of this is a good development, it's helping. Some people are saying the introduction of this, it still helped in the problems in 2023, the malfeasance in the 2023 elections that BVAS was a result of BVAS. But one other person is saying, look, BVAS is what helped me, or I wouldn't be on this seat today. Now, this year, INEC held the presidential, national and governorship elections. The electoral process was widely condemned by many political actors who filed for court cases over claims of stolen mandates. So many people alleged that their mandates were stolen, both people that were voted for, the ones who were not massively voted for as much as they felt they would. When they think, oh, I'm loved in my constituency, in my community, but the votes are not reflecting the love, and they say our mandates have been stolen. In October this year, INEC revealed that it was faced with over 1,000 pre-election litigations in the build-up to the 2023 elections. Right, following all these court cases, the pronouncement, the verdict of judges, many of them have come under public scrutiny. This is the year of all eyes on the judiciary. 2023 was literally that year of all eyes on the judiciary. In all of these cases, in all of this judgment, let us begin with Senate President Akpabio, what we can call his miraculous emergence as a senator, for Akwa Ibom Northwest, and then before he became the Senate President. The Supreme Court judgment, which affirmed Godswill Akpabio as Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District Senator on January 20, was received by so many people as a surprise. Now, Akpabio had contested for presidential ticket of the APC, while Ekpo Udom, a former deputy IG of police, won the party's primary for Akwa Ibom Northwest District. After losing out in the race to secure the presidential ticket, that's Akpabio right now, the party conducted another primary polls which produced Akpabio as the winner. So this negated the already primary poll win of Udom, right? Now, APC and Akpabio went before the Federal High Court to challenge INEC's decision not to enlist any candidate for the senatorial district ahead of general elections due to these party primary issues. Now, they got a favorable ruling at the trial court, but the appeal court on November 14 quashed the judgment and sacked Akpabio as candidate of the party. But as this got to the Supreme Court, the Apex Court in its judgment held that the issue was an internal party affair, which stripped the appeal court of jurisdiction to hear the matter. And so, miraculously, Akpabio became senator for Akwa Ibom Northwest. And then he rose to Senate President. But then, you would expect the courts, right, to be where you get justice. Where you say, I already won the primaries while this person was contesting for presidential tickets. I had won the primaries. How come this person lost? And you brought him, and it seems you've transferred, or you transmitted my mandate to this person by an act of wuru.
Technicality, they call it.
They call it technicalities. Okay, by act of technicalities, you say it's an internal party affairs. Is it that for Akwa Ibom Northwest, Akpabio was the best candidate to be senator. If he couldn't be president, at least let them have him there as a senator. Maybe they didn't even know he would become the Senate president, or was that the aim from the beginning? Because this is one of those judgments that Nigerians have spoken about over and over again. It is one of those judgments that even Akwa Ibom people have spoken about over and over again. How did Akpabio emerge senator when someone else had already won the primary polls when he was vying for the seat of the presidency?
You see, thank you, Chioma, for raising this issue once again. Legal pundits, especially the person I respect so much in the person of Olisa Agbakoba, SAN, and former President Civil Liberties Organization, on one analysis he was making concerning what is happening in the judiciary, made a reference particularly to Akwa Ibom Northeast senatorial election. And also he touched on the former Senate President Lawan. And even in the red chambers of the 9th Assembly, when they were doing their valedictory end of session for the 9th session, somebody like His Excellency Rochas Okorocha, who was the former two-time governor of Imo State, and a former senator from Olu Senatorial District of Imo State, or they call it Imo West Senatorial Zone, was also saying the same thing you're just talking, that all of them were in Eagle Square, slotting it out for presidential primaries. Then how come Lawan suddenly was now given a ticket as having won the senatorial election of in Yobe State, on the same party, the same APC, that he will need to go back to be tutored by Lawan on the magic that he used, because there's no way, it is not constitutional for you to file in to contest two elections at the same time. For you to be in the Senate and at the same time be president, you choose one. You either go for presidential or you go to Senate. That's where I say the people calling it technicality did not make mistake. So coming back to that of Akwa Ibom, Udom, who happens to be a Deputy Inspector General of Police retired, have been a long-standing member of APC, and he won the senatorial primaries for the general election. And just like what Olisa said, that time was when those men will come out in Supreme Court and people will know the direction things will go. But at these days, what comes out there is very, very ridiculous. I'm just quoting what he said, that it doesn't add up at all. And that his statement seems to give credence to people not really having belief that they will get justice in the judiciary, especially at that highest or apex court of the Federation, which is the Supreme Court. And it also made Olisa Agbakoba say that if care is not taken the way things are going, that it may come to a point where whatever decision they take in Supreme Court may be subject of parliamentary review. You know what that means? It's an indictment that a lot of water has crossed under the bridge.
That is to say, after the High Court justices or the Supreme Court justices have given their judgment, the Parliament still needs to review to see if justice has been done, or there were other issues or matters underneath that
exactly.
what was said.
It will come to that point. By way of legislation, they can get it done.
Like you said, isn't that an indictment
that's
on
what I'm
our
saying.
Justice system?
That's what we are saying. Because people like Femi Falana had also emphasized this same thing, that a lot has not been going well in the judicial system. And the earlier they look at it and do the right thing, the better for all of us, because that place is seen as the last hope for the, I don't want to use the word the common man, the last hope of every Nigerian and non-Nigerian resident in Nigeria who believes that he or she has been denied justice.
All right then. Now this is just one of those judgments that had Nigerians questioning the judiciary, right? And so it was ruled as an internal party affair. Instead of us talking about this on a larger scale, the reason why we're talking about it more is because Akpabio went ahead to become Senate president, and that's why I asked the question: was that the goal from the beginning? Say, if I can't be president, let me still be the third man.
No, you see, the thing is this: these things are like exigencies that came up, that having played a specific or certain role in making the incumbent to get to where he is, that there has to be an appreciation in which, since this one didn't work, let's see if this one will work. I think that was what played out. And they got it to the end and made sure the man became the number 3 citizen as way of compensation. That is the way it is viewed politically. You know. That was how he became the Senate president.
All right then, let's move forward and look at one. You know, there are so many instances, right? There are so many instances, but we'll take them one after the other. Anyway, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Matters right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. I am your host. I will be taking this up until 3 p.m. I have with me in the studio CP Chooks Ijeoma to analyze the issues on the major controversial court judgment in 2023, the year of all eyes on the judiciary, right? And we're just talking about Akpabio's emergence as a Senate president, not just as Senate president, but as senator representing Akwa Ibom West in the first place before he could become president of the Senate. I know that even him emerging as president of the Senate, there were a lot of dissenting voices in the APC in the Senate chambers as well. But let us move on. At 2 p.m., the phone lines will be open so that you can send in your comments, your ideas, your suggestions, and your opinions on what we'll be discussing today. In the meantime, you can send your messages to our WhatsApp platform 0700 903 9039. 0700 903 9039 is the WhatsApp number where you can send a message to. At 2 p.m., I'll tell you the phone lines to call. We're looking at some of the major controversial court judgment in 2023, the year of all eyes on the judiciary, right? Now let's look at the second issue right here today. Lawan versus Machina, the Yobe North controversy, right?
Exactly.
In February, the Supreme Court declared Ahmed Lawan, former Senate president, as candidate of APC for Yobe North District. Now, Bashir Machina, who had won the party's ticket unopposed during the primary in May 2022, was asked to step down for Lawan after he lost out in the presidential primary in June 2022. While Machina declined to step down, the APC in Yobe submitted Lawan's name to INEC, and we know it's what INEC receives that they will print out. All right. The electoral body did not recognize any candidate for the party, but Machina approached the court seeking to be recognized as the authentic senatorial candidate. In September 2022, Machina won in a federal high court in Damaturu, the state capital, and a month later, an Abuja Court of Appeal upheld his election as the APC candidate for Yobe North. However, 3 out of 5 members of the Supreme Court panel later removed Machina, stating that the case at the trial court should not have started via an originating summons due to fraud allegations within it. One would ask, I don't want to bring this up now, but if you look at it, one would ask that all of these cases of, oh, it's an inter-party affair, oh, I was the one there, they removed me and put someone else, isn't the ruling part. Is it that there are people who were already touted, who are seen as the best people for the job, but some people have been promised, don't worry, doesn't matter what has happened now, you will get there. You will get there. This is one of those judgments that made Nigerians look at the judiciary and ask, what is going on? Why are several different courts giving several different judgments? We might say they are doing that according to their understanding of the case, according to the submissions of the lawyers involved in the case, according to the investigations that have been carried out to find out that this is how this case should go in favor of one person or the other. But if you've run unopposed and you've won the party's ticket, how come you can now be usurped by someone else who did not indicate interest when you did?
Yes, that is what the reference I made to Olisa Agbako's analysis, because I strongly hold to that in most of my arguments. That he said in his 45 years of legal practice, he has never seen it like this. That what is coming out from that apex court is ridiculous. He said, look, that why the thing may end up one day becoming subject to parliamentary review is that it's just between 5 and 7 men will just sit there and take a decision that will cause a lot of uproar across the landscape, the length and breadth of the federation of over 200 million people. Then people will now begin to wonder, is it just these 5-7 men are causing all this? No. Their decision will not be final. And you know, when that is done, you know, it is a smear on the integrity of the judiciary. That is why they need to go in-house and attend to these issues that are beginning to rear its head. Because we are beginning to count there are several numbers, you know, coming out by way of the judgments that are controversial from the apex court. You know, it shouldn't be so. They, you know, based on the principles of law and jurisprudence, they need to look holistically on each of these cases coming before them, and then be sure that when they come out and say, this is our ruling, it shouldn't be faulted by any other person. Because just like some of the literary giants wrote in the past and still in the present, God's case, no appeal. Because if we are waiting for God to come down to give his judgment, then maybe we'll wait till eternity. It is man that will give justice, that will say, yes, Daniel has come to justice. Not a situation where you have all your facts, you have all your figures, you have all the fine legal minds who are seasoned in the practice. They had checked the pros and the cons of the cases, and they will go there and marshal them out, present them the way they should, and at the end of the day, the entire thing is like taken and thrown into the into the dustbin without looking at the vital ingredients in what would have been presented in the court. And at the end of the day too, the whole thing is being referred to as being on technical grounds and all that.
So there are so many technicalities that even the parties who are coming to trial do not understand. Or are these technicalities introduced so that judgments can go in favor of one person or the other?
Look, you see, it seems that I don't want to use the word. That's why I'm using the word seems. That it is the highest bidder that ends up having his or her way in the apex court from the way they are being criticized and the way some of those silks have been talking in parables. That's why I don't want to come out categorical. That's why I say it is presumed or it seems to be on the safer side that all is not well. A lot of water is passing under the bridge. Let me leave it at that.
And no one can tell where the water is going.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, then. Let us look at another issue, which is Governor Abdullahi Sule's comeback as governor of Nasarawa State. On October 2nd, the Election Petition Tribunal in Lafia, Nasarawa State, nullified the victory over Abdullahi Sule of APC as governor of the state. He was declared by INEC as governor of the state. And the tribunal declared David Ombugadu candidate of the PDP, as winner of the poll. Now, 2 of the justices on the bench said Ombugadu won the election. The third one dissented. Consequently, Sule and APC approached the appeal court seeking to overturn the verdict of the tribunal. Ruling on the matter, the appellate court in Abuja held that the evidence before it showed that the tribunal relied on legally inadmissible evidence, right, to declare Ombugadu as winner of the March 18 poll. So the court reversed the tribunal's decision and upheld Sule as a duly elected governor of Nasarawa State, rather. Now, the appellate court in Abuja said the tribunal relied on legally inadmissible evidence. The tribunal is made up of seasoned legal practitioners and professionals who have been doing this job for years. Wouldn't they know an evidence that is actually admissible? So when the appeal court is saying, oh, this evidence, it might look like it makes sense, but it's legally inadmissible, is that say there was an oversight on the part of the tribunal judges?
That question lies with the people that gave the final judgment. They are the ones that will tell us. And they have said it, that they collected legally inadmissible evidence to give their judgment. You see, the judiciary, the way things are going, they need to go in-house and address it. It's like we are getting it wrong. We are going towards the precipice in the legal system, and that's not the best for our image, both at home and internationally. Because as we are going forward, we expect to be getting good news in all spheres of life. We expect even the judiciary itself to get more developed and more integrated in their approach to issues, in their outlook, and in the process. We don't really, the upcoming generation will be looking at some of these institutions and some of these systems as not laying solid foundation for entrenching the legal practice and the justice system the way all other countries, other climes would have gone or would have been going. For instance, if you look at other countries, both in Africa and in the diaspora, when you have similar cases to what we have here, the average national in any of those countries will already know the direction the case is going, whether they are lawyers or they are not. Because once they Google it and cross-check the necessary ingredients or the facts or ground, they already know the direction the thing is going. Then how come a first developing nation like Nigeria, why would our own be something different? We are if in as much as we are not fast developing in terms of infrastructure, in terms of power, in terms of health institutions and education and all. No, I won't count out education, because in education we are doing well to the extent that if you go to other developed nations of the world, you see Nigerians are faring excellently well, whether in medicine, in physics, in engineering, and so on. And they've been getting awards and accolades. So you can't say we are not faring well in that area. So I expect to the same thing in the judiciary. The lawyers are doing excellently well. Even look at the number of silks they are turning out these days. A lot of senior advocates are there doing their thing. Then why is it that the process is now having so much of lacuna in what is going on there? And those who are courageous are the ones condemning it. The rest will not want to be quoted, maybe because of what they expect to get or gain from the system. In fact, one senior advocate friend of us source, I don't want to be specific of mine, was telling me, I don't want to call the state and all that, that they were having end of year party for people in the judicial system. And he pointed out some of those errors and things that are wrong in the bench and all that. And that some of those members of the body of benchers, after that, called him by the side and said, you ought not to have said this thing openly now. Have you become another Olisa Abakoba and Femi Falana? That these things, you need to tell us the thing quietly, not to. But the thing, because they knew that what is going on there it seems not to go down well with the generality of the people. In as much as the people are not all learned, but they are lettered and they read wide. They follow the trend of things. And they know when black is black, and when you are trying to tell them that black is no longer black, that it is turning gray. That is exactly where the issue,
like where the problem is coming
yes, from. That's where the problem is coming
so from. Even the people who are in the judiciary, the lawyers and judges, they need to talk to themselves. They need to talk to each other and tell themselves the truth.
Exactly.
All right, let us move on and look at some other major controversial judgments this year, 2023, right? Since 2021, when the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of proscribed IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, began, several cases have been filed against him and several judgments were given, but there's, even as it is right now, there's been no finality, right? Following his extradition from Kenya, Kanu was held in the custody of the DSS. He's been held in the custody of the DSS while the federal government filed terrorism charges against him. In April last year, the Federal High Court struck out 8 out of the 15 charges against him. The remaining 7 counts were later quashed by the Court of Appeal on October 13, 2022, while the judge ordered that Kanu should be released. A few days later, the court granted a stay of execution on its verdict discharging Kanu after the federal government had filed an appeal at the Supreme Court. Delivering judgment on December 15, the Apex Court reversed the verdict for the appeal court. In a unanimous decision, the 5-member panel held that even though the federal government acted irresponsibly, finger quotation marks around the word, by forcefully bringing Kanu back to the country from Kenya, no legislation prevents the trial court from continuing with the case. This case has gone to the Supreme Court. Lower courts have said, release this man and let him go, right? But then the federal government, went ahead to appeal and it went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is saying that the fact that his extradition was illegal, the fact that he was, more or less kidnapped and brought in from Kenya does not mean he should not be prosecuted in line with the law. And his lawyers have been arguing human rights. As it is right now in this case, is there a totally different reason why it seems that the federal government wants to keep Kanu incarcerated?
This issue of Kanu's case is a very controversial issue. And since the Apex Court, which is the Supreme Court, is the final court of appeal that one can go to, and they had come out to maintain a position that no matter that on the grounds that they, at the High Court level, some of the charges were quashed, and then the last of the 15 charges, 7 or 8 or so, were also quashed at the Court of Appeal. That does not negate the originality of whether so and so offense was committed or not. That it does not really matter whether he was kidnapped or hijacked or brought in. My take to it is that they have laid a precedence now, or a latitude, that the case will now go on and be tried, completely. What we should expect is, let us see the grounds of the trial. What exactly did they spot out that was not looked into both at the High Court and the Court of Appeal. Let them. You see, justice delayed, we say, is justice denied. Instead of coming in with this one reason or the other and protracting this same issue, I think it will be much more appropriate for them to hit the nail on the head. And those areas they said we are not taking care of, let them take care of it and come up with a judgment. Let us see what the judgment will be like. So what am I trying to say? I'm talking in terms of time factor is of essence now. They should speed that trial on whichever grounds they are holding forth, and let us see what the final judgment will be like. I want to leave it at that.
All right, then. Let us move forward. You're listening to Matters right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. In 9 minutes, the phone lines will be open and you can give us a call. Let's talk about all eyes being on the judiciary this 2023 as the year comes to an end. It's literally 3 days before the end of the year. Are you satisfied with the performance of the judiciary this year? Right? Okay, the NNPP lost his only gubernatorial seat when the court sacked Abba Yusuf as Kano State Governor. Right? The nullification of his election as Kano Governor has been one of the most controversial court decisions of 2023. The people protested. The judges had to go and give the verdict from another place because they couldn't sit in the court because they were afraid of the mob. Right? He was the candidate of the NNPP. He was the only elected governor on the platform of NNPP in the 2023 elections. Right. After deducting 165,000 votes from the 1 million votes recorded for him, the tribunal in September sacked Yusuf and affirmed Nasiru Gawuna of the APC as winner of the polls. The tribunal held that the 165,000 ballot papers were not stamped, they were not signed, and they were not dated as required by law. So that means those ballots, those votes, 165,000 votes were nullified. Right. The decision of the tribunal was also affirmed by the Court of Appeal on November 17. The appeal court added that Yusuf was not a member of the NNPP when he contested the election, but he was fielded by the party. Isn't that internal party affairs? I'm still going. Controversy trailed the verdict. Days later, a certified true copy of the appeal court judgment surfaced, contradicting the November 17 ruling. The copy of the judgment ruled against and in favor of the NNPP candidate simultaneously. And people were talking, how do you have two different citizens and both of them saying something different? Right? This led to speculations that the removal of Abba Yusuf as governor of Kano State, that there were legal loopholes. Right. The copy of the judgment, after it was released, the appeal court issued a statement saying it's a clerical error. They blame clerical error for the contradictions and the discrepancies. Right now, the matter is before the Supreme Court awaiting judgment. So we could say it is sub judice. But this was the only seat that was occupied by the NNPP this year. The NNPP and Rabiu Kwankwaso, they've been trying their best to hold on to that position as the third force in Nigeria's political party. In Nigeria's political party structures, right? When you have the ruling party, then you have the opposition, you have PDP, you have NNPP, and you have the recently blown in Nigerian parlance Labour Party, right? Which are now a very strong force. Also, this was the time when there were several issues of so many governors and senators being sacked from other parties and the ones from the ruling party being affirmed as the winners. So this was one judgment that really had Nigerians, the people of Kano State, and so many people in a chokehold saying this should not have happened. For the 165,000 ballot papers that were not stamped, signed, and dated, that the governor couldn't have been there, or the candidate couldn't have been there to make sure that all of these things happen. Were this fault from the polling unit? Were this fault from INEC? Were this fault from the polling officers? To the extent that 165,000, so the people who came out to cast their vote, 165,000 people have more or less been disenfranchised, because after they have thumb printed, after they've casted their votes, the ballot papers were not stamped, they were not signed, they were not dated, or were these ballot papers actually orchestrated to add to the votes of the person who was first declared winner before the court said, look, you cannot be the winner? Or was this a case of, because even the judges were afraid to sit in the court where they were supposed to. They have to give the judgment, online. And they were afraid, and the mob gathered. It would seem that the NNPP candidate was the one that the people actually voted for.
Yes, you have done the analysis, and that's the way I see it too. That even I am also of the school of thought that 165,000 votes, how do you know it is only a NPP candidate that has those nullified votes? Did they bring them out and they were all ANPP? That's one area they have not told us. Because it could have either been some PDP, some could be APC. So why deduct that whole sum from the ANPP's candidates' total vote casts?
The NNPP.
Yes, the ANPP candidates' total vote casts. That means it has a very big question mark. Well, having said that, the issue of what is happening in Kano is very unfortunate because it's a very volatile state, and some political analysts from that part of the country have been saying that it is like it's a fight between the present national chairman of APC and his former principal, who happens to also be the presidential candidate of NNPP.
That's Kwankwaso and
Ganduje. That it is where two elephants are fighting, which means at the end of the day, the grass will suffer.
So whose protege is the current governor?
Well, the thing is this. He came under the ticket of NNPP. In other words, his principal is
the presidential candidate of the party.
But
now that he's been removed and the APC candidate affirmed, by the appeal court, that is, he is now a protege or working with the APC national chairman.
Well, the thing is, it will be sub judice to begin to dissect it. Let us wait for the outcome from the Supreme Court. Then we will now know the direction we'll still be going.
All right, then. It's 2 minutes now before 2 p.m. on the number one station that gives you a voice. This is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. I'm your host, and we are talking about the major controversial court judgment in 2023. CP, let's talk about the major, the saying that all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. It's probably not the case in this one, but in the majority, there is the, pardon my parlance, there's the majorist, right? So the one that people were actually, Nigerians were actually looking forward to and waiting to hear and just waiting to see the outcome of what it will be was the Supreme Court judgment on Nigeria's presidency. We know that INEC affirmed the current president to be the winner of this year's presidential elections, right? And after then, the Labour Party and the PDP, main opposition parties, they were not having it. PDP went all out, went to Chicago, did its findings, came up, talked with the FBI. PDP really, really hammered from one angle. They were coming from the certificate angle. They were coming from the educational, the academic angle, saying if we were to look at it on the issue of what certificate you have to be Nigeria's president, there is the case of forgery. That this person that INEC has affirmed as our president has a pending case of forgery. So you need to look at it from a legal aspect to see if this person's integrity has not been affected and if it should be affirmed as Nigeria's president, right? And the Labour Party was coming from another angle. I was looking at the drug cases, which has been established so many years before now. But all of these were not enough to sway the Supreme Court, which came out to say that he was following INEC's declaration of President Bola Tinubu as Nigeria's president for the next 4 years. But Atiku worked so hard to get all of these several different evidences, certificate forgery. The Labour Party was coming on the issue of drug cases. All of this And one thing that the Supreme Court said was that the allegation that the president had forged his Chicago State University CSU certificate was another issue. Totally. Because Atiku filed a suit in the US to compel CSU to produce that certificate. The issue dragged on and on and on and on. All of the issues raised in these separate appeals were thrown out by a 5-member panel of the tribunal on September 6. Now, the decision of the tribunal was also affirmed by the Supreme Court, which was saying that no matter what Atiku Abubakar has brought, that evidence was supposed to be tendered at the appeal court, and the time for tendering the evidence has passed. It may seem like it's not, the cases are not on the same level. But if you note this, if you go back to the case of Nnamdi Kanu that we spoke about recently, the Supreme Court says it doesn't matter that he was extradited illegally, but will still prosecute him as someone who has these charges against him. But then on the other hand, they're saying it doesn't matter that you have brought cases that we should or we think we may look into, but you're not bringing it at the right time. The time and evidence, or a reported evidence or an alleged evidence shows, is it not meant to indict? Let's say you have someone who is being punished for murder, right? You have someone who has been convicted for murder or for the murder of one person, and then you find out that this person has killed 4 or 5 more people. Would you expect that case to go back to trial and for more to be added to their sentence? Or would say, oh, let them serve out the first sentence first. Maybe when they apply for parole, then we'll deny the parole to make them understand that we have uncovered other crimes. What really, because the perception of so many Nigerians, of course, while some people were rejoicing, some people were saying this is not what we were expecting. One thing that lawyers and legal practitioners and analysts will always say is that justice must not just be served, because on the part of the judges, the justice, people who give this judgment, they feel we've done the best, but we've looked at it legally, we've looked at it on every front, mostly legally, because they've said it over and over again. Your emotions do not sway the judges. What sways them, what they look at, is the evidence on hand. The time and evidence is presented, does it affect a case? If you've given the guilty a verdict of not guilty, if you've given the not guilty a verdict of guilty, let's look at it from the not guilty. If you give the not guilty person a verdict of guilty and this person is already in the prison yard and a new evidence comes to light show that this person did not do it, will that person not be acquitted? How come when it's the other way around, it seems there are legal technicalities and loopholes that just cannot be looked over? Because that is one judgment that it really divided Nigerians.
Well, the bit I have to add there, you have just done the analysis thoroughly and comprehensively. The judgment has already been passed, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. In as much as there is resentments on the other side of the divide, and some people are rejoicing on this other side, I think Nigerians have learned their lessons, that they'll be set for build up to 2027. So that those areas that had been sore points, in quotes, that made their presentation before the tribunal and up to Supreme Court not make sense, I'm sure they'll work on that and be sure that such loopholes will not rear its head anymore in future elections. You know, I just want to end it at that.
Yeah, looking at this now,
yes.
or on one hand, there are people who are congratulating and saying judiciary is doing well.
Yes.
On the other hand, there are dissenting opinions, people who are saying, look, this year judiciary has not just done so well because they don't agree with the judgment. 2020, as 2023 has been the year of all eyes on judiciary, in 2024, what are we to expect? Right, so many lawyers, so many sons have come out to say that the CJN has too many powers as a judicial officer. He's the president of so many judicial bodies. Recently, he appointed, I think it was his son, then his nephew, then his brother to sensitive positions in the Judicial Commission, in the several different judicial offices and parastatals and ministries that we have. Are we looking forward to, and should we rather look forward to, an overhaul of judiciary in 2024, to them doing better? Or should we expect them to just be at this point where so many Nigerians have lost their trust in the judiciary?
They should make it like the issue of overhauling that place. I think it is long overdue.
When we say overhaul, like, can you go into details, the things that need to be done?
Well, they should go in-house. They're already pointing them out that a lot of wrongs are going on in that system. And that is why people are beginning to lose confidence and trust in the integrity of the system. And that is why I say the practitioners have a very big burden to address the key issues, the core issues that are bringing to question what is going on in that place. It is not for outsiders to come and overhaul the place for them. They should hold the bull by the horn. Those of them who are courageous should, they have seen it all. They have absolutely nothing to lose. They should come out and say, look, these are the areas that is ridiculing this system. We need to sanitize this place.
Do we then expect lawyers to come up and tell judges when they feel that justice has not been served in several cases, in some cases?
No, the practice generally is like a court. They will not come openly to be specific. That is why I salute the courage of Femi Falana and Olisa Bakoba and lately too of Raji Fashola coming out to say it the way it is. Good number will be playing, and even Akpata, the past president of the NBA. Yes, the man is courageous. He has said a lot of things that even some of his fellow senior advocates are not happy about it. One or two of his practicing legal people had spoken extensively on that to me, that why should I go to the extent of saying what he said and this and that. And I told I was frank to tell one of those sons that you shouldn't be playing to the gallery. You have absolutely nothing to lose at this your height and level. After all, you had been a past president of NBA, so you can't be telling me this. I don't want to be calling names anyway, but I'm just bringing out the ones that stuck out their head.
So that is inside of them. They have these meetings and they tell each other these shouldn't have been done in this way. But we shouldn't expect them to come out and say it for Nigerians to hear.
Yeah.
But if they don't, how do we then know that so we don't lump them together with the pack or say everyone's complicit?
They are all the same, but that's the thing. Well, that's exactly what I was saying. I was telling this son who was past president of NBA, look, you people should support people like Olisa Bakoba and Abata and so on and so forth. Get that place, sanitize that place, cleanse the audience table so that the NJC should go to work. Some of the people that have been found wanting one way or the other, they should be eased out. Then for even the lawyers, the practicing lawyers, the disciplinary committee should look at petitions and complaints against some of them. If they confirm that they have erred grossly, they can put them on suspension for some years so that it will serve as deterrent to others coming in. And those whose own are completely or grossly, messed up the system, they can remove the wig and gown completely from them and tell them bye-bye.
One thing is, change doesn't start from the tail, it starts from the head.
Yes.
Right? We are talking about an overhaul of the NJC, of the Nigeria's justice system, of the judiciary. Is this to come from the same CJN who is appointing his family members to sensitive positions?
No. If you're waiting for the top to do it, it will not happen. There needs to be a radical approach to it. You don't wait for the top to do it. There are those in the ranks who should come up with substantial reasons and facts and evidence before the bigger house to say, look, these are grounds why we need to do this. And before they do that, they should seek for support of good number of honest and straightforward members of the system who will stand by them come rain come shine and damning the consequences of what will come out of it, because you want a saner judicial system. And I think that's the way they should go about it.
All right, then. The phone lines are now open. Give us a call. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. 0700 903 903 903. I can see your messages on our WhatsApp platforms. Do keep them coming. This is Matters on Voice of People 90.3 FM. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. I am your host, and we're talking about some of the major controversial court judgments in 2023. Which one did it for you? Which one? And how are you expecting 2024 to be in Nigeria's judiciary? Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. You're my first caller for the day.
Good afternoon, Sister Chioma.
What's your name and location, please?
My name is Peter Usifo. I'm calling from Abanoja in Ikoto.
Welcome, Mr. Peter. Let's hear from you.
Please, I want to extend my greetings to your meticulous analyst, Richard C. Chooks. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you too.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to take two out of all you have said as my case study. That is on that one. That is the former Senate president, and of course on the Nnamdi Kanu. But before I go on, it is said that peace without justice is just like peace in a graveyard. So there must be total peace. But in judgment, we have political judgment and we have legal judgment. We have to also note that peace, that justice to A is injustice to B. That's what must be understood. Now going to Lawan. Lawan's case was a case of placeholder. Let us agree that the High Court and of course the Appeal Court refused him to come back to the Senate. And which he also said he himself will not go to the Supreme Court. But mind you, you cannot force an employee on the employer. It is the APC that is the employer. So APC went to Supreme Court to say that they don't want the placeholder. They don't want that man to go to the Senate. So that one is clear. As far, let's go back. That one is clear in the sense that the Supreme Court gave judgment to APC and not Lawan. So Lawan now became a candidate in the Senate and won as a senator. Now going to Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu's case was very clear in the High Court and in the Appeal Court. Of course, it was clear that he was bundled from Kenya to Nigeria, which is very bad. And of course, remember the Python dance in which he escaped from Nigeria to abroad. But the Supreme Court said that we have agreed with all these cases that the federal government was wrong. But then there was a political judgment, and this political judgment is what made him to escape from that is the Python dance, to escape from Nigeria to abroad. And that was the case he had, because he jumped bail. If people will remember, let us not be biased about it. He jumped bail on that case of treasonable felony or terrorism. He jumped bail. So that is that. And finally, if I may come to the judgment of the Supreme Court, that is the last one that brought Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or that made him to be the president of this country. Now remember in the Appeal Court, in the Tribunal of Appeal Court, it was very glaring when it was televised world over that the lawyers of LP, that is Peter Obi, and of course Atiku, did not do their due diligence. At all. It looked as if they even ate the money of their own, that is Labour Party and of course PDP.
So you are saying the evidences they presented was not enough for the kind of cases that they were filing?
No, it was very clear that they did not do their due diligence. That is that. And then again, in the Supreme Court, Atiku went to shop for the irrelevant. Things that were not even brought up ab initio.
When you say the irrelevant, that's the Chicago State University certificate issue.
Yes, and that was why Speaker did not accept that. It's irrelevant. It's very irrelevant. So that is my own submission for now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter, for your opinion. Thank you so dearly. You are listening to Matters right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. Thank you for holding on.
Good afternoon. One from here. This is Tony from Chicago.
Welcome, Mr. Tony.
Good morning, Chief
CP.
Juice.
Good morning, Tony.
Yes, I want to make a correction about this caller because there's some negative things he tried to portray. On the issue of Lawal, there's no way a party will overturn the constitution, overturn the electoral act. Somebody that did not contest election cannot be imposed as the winner. Lawal never contest election. He was not in the primary of the what's it called, the senatorial election. So how can it be imposed on the nomination? It's not possible. So that's the correction. That's why that what's it called, former Governor Okorocha asked. He doesn't know what really happened. Lawal was contesting for presidency. So let that person understand that. On the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, on the Python dance, I don't see any reason why I will be waiting for my trial, and the next thing you see is a bundle of the army battalion came to my house and start shooting. And you want me to be there? I have to escape for my life first. Nnamdi Kanu was in his house. He has a court date coming up. The next thing you saw was army battalion came to his house. So do you want him to be killed like a chicken? Then you now know that you have to obey the law. That's where the government faulted that man to escape for his life first. So I don't know why people don't want to understand the judiciary, and then they're coming out to make a presentation. No, we have to get things right. On the issue of how do I feel about the judgment, judicially, even if you add the CJ today, if the God asks him, "Are you satisfied?" He will tell you no, because the maker will ask him, because he himself is not satisfied what happened. But for Nigeria, he is satisfied. A lot of things went wrong in our judicial system this year, so I give them 0%.
So what about in 2024? Are you expecting this overhaul that the CP is speaking about?
Yes, of course. Of course, they are losing their respect to the masses. They lost their respect. They lost their credibility. Let me be honest to you. If I take a case to the court now, if I don't have money, I'll lose the case. That's what it is. Here in America, I had a hit one day while I was driving with a car, and then I saw a white man. That was a white man, my opponent. Normally, the insurance will have take it over, but the man have to ask me to be in the court, and I was in the court. I was a white man, a white judge. Then I don't know what's going to happen. But the judge told him that I should leave, that I have not to answer, that I have a policy, the insurance policy. The man was bent on me fixing his car by my pocket. But the judge told me, no, it's not possible. But if it's Nigeria, they will turn the policy upside down and punish me because of that. So Nigeria system, no, I can't take a case to Nigeria court. I'll just
Thank you.
leave it.
Thank you, Mr. Tony. Thank you so much for your call. Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is Matters. My name is Ijeoma Innocent. I am your host, and we are talking about some of the major controversial judgments this year. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters.
Good afternoon. This is Mr. Godwin. I'm calling from Ejibo.
Welcome, Mr. Godwin. Let's hear from you, sir.
The judiciary has been the worst enemy of Nigerians this year.
Okay. Mr. Godwin.
Choma, let me tell you, let's be frank, the judiciary have disappointed a lot of Nigerians. Even I always do something in the court where I find them wanting. Let's be frank, let you yourself examine them, you see that they are at the zero level. Unless the judiciary got it wrong, Nigeria will not progress. And the downfall of Nigeria have started this year from judiciary. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Godwin. Are you there, Mr. Godwin? Okay, I wanted to ask, I'm going to ask anyway, wouldn't you say the reason why you're scoring it this way is because you were not satisfied with the judgment that they gave? And that is why we come back to the issue of justice must have been perceived to be done. But let's go back to what Mr. Peter said, CP, where he said that the lawyers of the PDP and the Labour Party did not do their due diligence, and it was as if they ate the money that they were supposed to be using to gather evidence. Is that an opinion that you subscribe to?
I don't accept that. That's why I want us to close that chapter of what happened. And I told you everybody has learned his or her lesson. And I believe such things will not repeat itself again in 2027 or build up to 2027.
All right, then 0700 903 903 903. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters.
Good afternoon.
What's your name and location, please? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, this is so much better. I was finding it difficult to hear you. All right, let's hear from you.
Yeah. That's one from.
Hello?
Sleepy.
Unfortunately, you would have to give us a call back. I could hardly hear anything from your end as well. But I definitely want to hear from you. I can see your comments on our YouTube platforms. Keep them coming. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. Thank you so much for holding on.
Yeah, Richard from Germany. Good afternoon, my beautiful lady and our CP.
Good afternoon, Richard.
Yeah. About Nnamdi Kanu, it is unfortunate that sometimes even I blame Nigerian press, because they are still saying that Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail, which was not true, or is still not true. Because there is no one, even as you are sitting there right now, if somebody comes to harm you, you are going to run for your life. That's what happened on 14th of September 2017. Because we are all following these things here. All of us were following these things here. We are not like whereby we are talking because we want to talk. No, we follow what goes on in Nigeria every day. This young man was in his own house before they came to harm him. And he escaped. Thank God he escaped, but unfortunately, almost 38 people lost their lives, and Nigerians are saying he jumped the bail. He did not jump bail, and I blame the journalists. I blame the press for saying that. Okay, but I can understand the terrain you guys are. You guys are really, really constrained. And secondly, you guys are saying that he was, extradited to Nigeria. No, extradition means Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya, went through court process, no matter how many days or how many weeks, and then returned to Nigeria. That is extradition. But he was adopted after 8 days. He was extraordinary rendition back to Nigeria. That is that's international crime. That is international crime. In Germany here, you cannot do it. You cannot do it in Germany. You cannot do it in the US. Nowhere you can do it. Only in Nigeria. And the press is saying that he was extradited to Nigeria. Wrong. But I can understand the terrain you guys are walking. Very hard terrain. I have to excuse you for that. Then if you come about something like the judiciary, the Supreme Court. Let me tell you, here in Germany, a judge, even a policeman, he cannot even give a policeman a flower and he takes it from you because it's already compromised. You can nothing. Policeman, judges, there's no way you can even give them a little gift. But in Nigeria, you see Supreme Court justice, dining with politicians, attending their weddings, attending their ceremonies. You see politicians buying vehicles for them. And how are you expect these people to dispense, justice? It's impossible because they have already compromised. Here in Germany, where I live, the judges, the police, everybody is in the same system. Civil service system. Every month you get your money. You don't even know who pays your money. You don't even know who pays your salary. That is that's why they are neutral. You can never say a judge dining with the politicians. Let me tell you, do you know why the former president of Germany, Christian Wolff, why he resigned? Because he took a flight ticket worth only 700 euros from a friend, from a business partner. And after a while, nobody knew until a journalist discovered. And that's how this man came down. He resigned and apologized. A present of a country, just 700 euros. So the judges and do you know why Germany or other countries, all this Western world, will like to come and live? Do you know why they are how they are? Because the police and the judges, they are perfect. The law, the rule of law. These two people, these two police and the judiciary, these two people is what making America, England, Japan, civilized. Because everybody, if you allow me to live my own life like a Nigerian here, I will be doing what I want to, how I want it. But because of the law, makes it will discipline you, and police and judges. If we get it right, these people, Nigeria will be okay. If we don't get it right with these people, if they are paid very small salary, if they are not well treated well, Nigeria, in another 50 years, we'll be talking about the same thing we're talking, because they cannot live with empty stomach. They want to live like ordinary, like the way politicians live their lives, very triumphantly. Thank you very much.
So
God bless you.
Mr. Richard, for your session. 0700 903 903 903. Give us a call. Good afternoon. Welcome to. Please turn down the volume of your radio set.
COP 90.3 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome. That's where you are. What's your name and location, please?
Yes, my name is Etienne Michael.
Welcome, Etienne. Welcome, Etienne. CP is in the studio.
Yeah, my greeting goes to CP in the house.
Good afternoon, Etienne.
Hello, CP.
Good afternoon to you.
So I still believe that there are honest people in the country, and you are one of them, sir.
Thank you.
My big kudos, sir. I really want to contribute concerning the person of Nnamdi Kanu. He is my leader. About that matter, there is a monkey ant in the soup. Monkey ant inside soup. What does that mean by that? What is happening to that man? The Igbo leaders, the Igbo politicians, some of them have stand in the matter.
That's a huge allegation. Why do you say so?
Those people don't want that man to come out from that place.
Why? What is the reason?
And I must say that I do respect Nnamdi Kanu, and I do honor him, and I do, obey him more than Nigerian politicians. I must say the truth.
Two questions. Why is that? Why do you follow and worship and honor and adore him more than politicians? And why do you say that the Southeast leaders have a hand in his continuous incarceration?
Okay, let me quickly explain something. Assuming Nnamdi Kanu is a Hausa man, this thing will not last to this extent.
What makes you think so?
Take example what happened with former EFCC chairman. What is his name? The young man that just
Bawa, Abdurrashid Bawa.
Yes. This example, what happened to him? Did anybody prosecute him? Did he go to court? Now the Kanu that they are tracking like this. What has he done? See, if Nnamdi Kanu to stand and Nigerian politicians stand, and they ask me to stone one of them, I tell you I will stone Nigerian politicians. Are you with me?
Thank you so much.
So, let them be careful.
Thank you for your call. No vex. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. Again, I will reiterate, let us be civil, let us be polite, do not throw insults or curses. All right. Good afternoon, welcome to Matters. What's your name and location? Please turn on the volume on your radio set.
I've done that.
What's your name and location, please?
My name is Devansi Jesse, calling from Mosholi.
Welcome, sir. Let's hear from you.
I just came in, and the reason I heard I should I agree to. Yes, sir. The reason I heard him saying that I heard him say making comment of overhauling the judiciary against 2024. Right? Hello?
Come again?
Yeah. I came in late, so I heard him say something like overhauling the judiciary, right?
Yes, next year.
Yeah, that is what caught my attention.
Is that something you agree with for 2024, so that Nigerians can have more hope and faith in the judiciary?
That is why I just want to say something. See, to do that, I don't know who's going to do that. Is it God or human being? As far as this party, this APC government is on ground. As far as they're on ground, and as far as they are the president, you don't overhaul anything. Whatever you are going to do, the judiciary cannot work.
Why do you say so? Why do you think so?
How will they work? Where all the people are biased already? All the people have been defeated, bought over. What want to hear? How will you overhaul people who saw the truth and told it because of money, because of whatever, power? What will you do then? You just don't do any will overhaul them. It's to get one place and kill them all. Then don't be people. But to change these people, to these people, to become Christian, how will you do that? It's not possible. I don't see it working. Except God alone will come and do it. The only way you will do it is to get the one place and burn them and burn new people.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for your call. All right. Again, I will reiterate, do not curse, do not insult, do not cast aspersions, please, and do not wish anybody terrible. All right, we can share our opinions without doing all of that. Okay, I will be obliged to cut you off if you start using words that are not radio friendly. My apologies in advance, my sincerest apologies. Good afternoon, welcome to Matters.
Good afternoon, my name is Casey.
What's your name?
This is Casey calling from Blue Heaven.
Welcome, Casey, all the way from Blue Heaven. Compliments of the season. How are you today?
I wish you all the best. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Let's hear from you.
I greet CP Chicks.
Good afternoon, Casey. Compliments.
Compliments of the season, sir.
Let's hear from you regarding the issue.
My contribution, I want to ask a question first regarding Nnamdi Kanu's case. I heard somebody that called and was explaining that Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail. I want to ask CP Chooks, if Nnamdi Kanu has a case in the court and that case is dated on a particular date, maybe let me say like tomorrow now, and then today the man who you say he jumped bail he has a case in the court tomorrow, and then today he is in his house, and all of a sudden the army that are meant to fight external forces, the army that are meant to protect the borders of the nation, went to a single man's house, and then that man was able to, even the power of army, he was able to escape that condition. How on earth do journalists, people, call that jumping bail? He did not run when they fixed the date for the court. He didn't jump the bail. All this while, it was a date to that court case that he will not jump bail. See, before these laws are made, we first of all became human beings. And when God created us, He put conscience, He put thoughts, the way we reason, the way we think. Let us think things right. Let us do things right, and stop saying that Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail. Anytime I hear that, I so much get angry, because you cannot come to, even police cannot come to my house and then start shooting, not even to come and arrest me. All of a sudden, they are shooting at people, killing people, and you expect me to sit down until they kill me for you to know that I will not jump bail. It's so unfortunate.
Thank you so much,
my dear.
Thank you, Kessie. Thank you so much for your call. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. We're talking about the major controversial court judgments from the judiciary this year, and I definitely want to hear your opinion, because we're talking about 2023 was the year of all eyes on the judiciary. Will 2024 be the year of more hope or better faith in the judiciary? I'd like to hear your thoughts, your opinions, and your suggestions regarding this issue. What can the judiciary do better to restore the faith of the people and the hope of the people in its ways? Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. What's your name and location, please? Your voice is breaking and I can hardly hear you. Welcome. Let's hear from you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know, but we're finding it difficult to hear you.
Can't you hear me?
Hello? Please give me a call back. I definitely want to hear what you have to say. You are the reason I'm here. We are the voice of the people after all, and we're here to make sure that you have a voice, that your opinion, your suggestions are heard loud and clear. So give me a call. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters.
Good afternoon. My name is Prince.
Okay, I can't really hear you. Your voice is quite low.
Hello?
Yes, this is better. What's your name?
My name is Prince from Oshodi.
Welcome, Prince. Let's hear from you.
I just want to say something. Let us understand it clear. Is that somebody is the president of the country, and do you expect him to sit down and put chief judge that will remove him? It's not possible. All of us have wisdom. President is the one that appoints chief judge. He is the one that appoints the people, all the whole leaders. How do you want him to put people that will remove him? It's not possible. If we want to get this thing right, let the judges choose the chief judge. Let INEC people choose INEC people. So if you can just if you say INEC, they are listening on their own, why can't we allow them to select the INEC chairman? Why can't we allow these chief justices to select chief justice? Why can't we allow police people to select the head of the police? Why can't we allow army to select the head of army? Do you
really feel that if this happens like this, there will not be cases of compromise?
There will not be. Nigeria this is only how we can get it right. That is the only way. Because let me tell you something. Nigeria, if we sit down from today to tomorrow and say that presidents have the right to choose, that's not how. See, presidents cannot choose somebody that will remove him in power. If you are the president, will you do the same? Governor cannot select who will remove him in power. It's not the same. See, sometimes when I look at people saying something, they say president, he has bought up. He will not vote over. If I'm the president, I will do the same. I will stay there 8 years. So if we want to get this thing right, let us. If we say we are a civilian rule, let us do it. Let all the arms take care of their leaders. We will see. We get it right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your call. 0700 903 903 903. We're still taking calls right here, and the conversation centers around the major controversial court judgments in 2023, the year that I like to call the year of all eyes on the judiciary. Will 2024 be the year of all faith in the judiciary? Well, let us know what you think in 2024, with or without that overhaul. Are you expecting something different, something more, something better from Nigeria's judiciary? Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters.
Good afternoon.
What's your name and location, please?
My name is Henry, and I've called earlier from Amuwo.
Welcome, Henry.
So what I want to say is that the judiciary will have that independency, just like the last caller said. Because when the president appoints, then whatever the president tells the Chief Justice, that is what exactly he's going to do. He would like to favor the person that has given him that opportunity to be there. So now looking at Nnamdi Kanu's matter, he is supposed to have been released because they are charging him for treason and terrorism. But what is the evidence that he is a terrorist in Nigeria? We have terrorists at Boko Haram, which they know the location they are. They have not been able to track them. We have a different kind of banditry. Even headers are coming to kill many people. They have not been able to do anything about that. Look at Plateau State. What happened? So, but look at somebody that is talking about his people's freedom. Simple, something that they would have come to reconcile matters. They are now charging him of all kinds of treason and so what I'm saying is that they are doing impartiality where he is, because there are a lot of people that look at Abakari.
Are you there? Hello? All right, give me a call back. I definitely want to hear from you. We might have a space for 2 or 3 more calls before we call it a day, but I can see your comments on our YouTube platforms. Keep them coming. To watch us on YouTube, just type into your search bar VOP in 903 FM and you will see us. We're live right now, INCP, in case you want to put faces to the names, or you want to put faces to the voices, or you just want to look at our studio setup. Tap in and drop your comment on YouTube. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters.
Ijeoma, I'm calling back.
Okay. Hello?
The only problem is this. You see, the police themselves, they have a lot of things to do. I am ashamed of Igbo people. If Igbo people would have stood up, Nnamdi Kanu would have been released. Let me tell you, political power, no political power.
Stand up in what way? To sway the judges of the Supreme Court or what?
I said that Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Even the politicians in the Igbo sector, Igbo section, they are nowhere to be found. And the judiciary is a jamboree. Let's say spell it out.
Thank you.
Disappointment.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your call. You're listening to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is Matters, the program where we discuss all of the issues as it affects us as people, as humans, as Nigerians, as individuals. Yes, here we discuss everything, and we're talking about the major controversial court judgment in 2023. And I'm asking, in 2024, what are you expecting from the judiciary? Well, while your calls are coming in, it's time for me to take your comments on our YouTube and WhatsApp platforms. Beginning from YouTube, Ugonna Ukachukwu says your caller, Mr. Peter, is uninformed. Again, I will reiterate in your comments, in your calls, in your messages, do not insult any caller. If you do not agree with them, it is okay not to agree, but it is not okay to throw names. All right. Ugonna Ukachukwu also says Supreme Court held that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail and had the right to run for his life, and held his bail ought not to have been revoked on that account. Ola Adewale says, fellow Nigerians, I watched a video of 2 police officers being stripped of their jobs for taking bribes, and that makes me wonder and ask when we will strip the career politicians of their jobs. Ola Adewale also says, do you know that the career politicians loved playing to the gallery, and do also know that those people in black robes are politicians first. White Lion says, you charged the Kanu for terrorism and the rehabilitation of book boys. Niger, where we they go? Book boys? Do you mean Boko Haram? Okay, thank you. I can see your comments on our YouTube platform. Keep them coming. The program is going up until 3 p.m. Before we move on to messages on WhatsApp, let me take your calls. Good afternoon. I can hear myself.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Shafi. I'm calling from Ikeja.
Welcome, Shafi. Let's hear from you.
Yeah. Basically, I think what I have to say about the judiciary system in terms of the situation with Nnamdi Kanu is that, first of all, I am not in support of the advocacy of Nnamdi Kanu personally. So whatever the situation might be, the government are taking, I think to me, they are taking the right step and they are dealing with him in the right way, because I see Nnamdi Kanu as somebody, they said he's a terrorist. One of the charges is terrorism, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
And which I think is not wrong. I see him as a general who is trying to fight this war in a technology way. So, and he's trying to cause division in the country, which I think he should be even the number one suspect as a terrorist. That's my own opinion, anyway. So I don't think the government are wrong in this, or the judiciary system is wrong in his own judgment.
All right.
That's of Nnamdi Kanu in particular.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's.
Thank you so much for your call. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters.
Yeah, Choma, good morning. Good morning from California, and good afternoon over there.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Good
Please?
afternoon, Mr. CP.
Good afternoon to you. Which part of California are you calling from? San Francisco or LA? Or...
San Francisco, yep. San Francisco. I am right now by the Bay Bridge. If you know where I'm at Embarcadero.
Okay.
You know,
Thank you. What's your name, though?
Yeah. This is Prince Akwachi.
Welcome, Prince. Let's hear from you.
First and foremost, I don't want to dive into, so much controversy about the judiciary, However, my simple comment is this. If they are expecting people to invest in Nigeria, they have to think twice. There should be an overhaul. No matter what it is, there should be an overhaul. All these ones you see people, especially the person who said the judiciary, whatever it is that he was trying to side with the judgment about One and Co. I totally disagree with him. Like I said, I will be civil. I will not be, I will not insult anyone. But it's so sad that even other countries, other African countries, laugh at us. They laugh at us. We don't have a judiciary. Something got to give. If it means retiring some of them that are due for retirement, let them go on retirement. For Christ's sake, a country cannot work without a working judiciary. If we don't, when we talk, it will look as if we in diaspora we just want to talk. Over here, people are very happy to talk because when you do the right thing, you will get justice. You will get justice. I listened to someone who was saying that you don't even give a justice, you don't even give them a flower. You don't. Over here, we elect our justices. They go for election. And all that. And then, when they get it, if they're elected, they're elected. They're independent, and they have to be independent. But when you have the president appointing and all that stuff, at the end of the day, corruption creeps in. We just want sanity in Nigeria. That's our country. We love our country. We want sanity. That's all I can say for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prince Akwachi, for calling all the way from San Francisco, California. We have space for one more call before we call it a day. All right. While I'm taking the WhatsApp messages, if I see your call coming in, I'm going to take it. So who's going to be our lucky last caller? Okay, it's you. Good afternoon. Welcome to Matters. You're my final caller for the day. What's your name and location, please?
I'm sorry, this is for information. I just want to ask CP something, please. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead.
CP, who does that?
Go ahead, Prince.
Okay. If he's the president of this country, he appoints INEC chairman. The INEC chairman, would that INEC chairman remove him as the president?
Please reiterate your question.
If the CP is the president of this country, and by the grace of God, he is the one that's supposed to appoint the INEC chairman. He appoints the INEC chairman. That INEC chairman he appoints, will that INEC chairman sit there and remove him as the president?
You said INEC chairman and not our chief judge.
INEC chairman I'm talking about.
All right then. Thank you, Prince. Thank you. Listen up to get the answer to that question. Unfortunately, our time is fast spent and we need to go. CP, so final words, and you want to answer Prince's question?
Well, which of the princes? Because so many princes called.
the last caller.
I didn't hear him clearly. What was his question?
Yeah, he said if you were the president and you appointed the INEC chairman, would the INEC chairman want to remove you from power? And that's why I asked, did he want to say INEC chairman or CJN or...
No, he's right in the way that, in the sense that once you appoint the INEC chairman, it will be difficult, if not impossible, for him to lead the crusade that will get you out of that place. Therefore, I think the angle he's coming from is that they have to rearrange the way such persons are appointed, not necessarily to come from the executive. Maybe if there is any other method, which the way I see Nigeria, it will take a while to do that, where the man can be totally independent and superintend over elections without fear or favor.
That's to say, none of our independent, parastatals or ministries are actually independent.
That's exactly what he's saying, and it makes a lot of sense. There has to be a way that the thing needs to be changed, so that it won't be the judiciary, the executive that should appoint people to hold those positions.
Okay.
Because once they appoint, the total loyalty goes to whoever is in charge of the government at that central level. So these are areas that needs to be looked at and restructured or, overhauled.
All right then, let me take your messages on our WhatsApp platform before we call it a day, as our time is far spent. All right, good afternoon, Madam Chairman. CP, I'm Christian from Ilasamaja. I think that the Guinness Book of Records should include the Nigerian judiciary. They really broke records in this year 2023 elections. Let them know that power is transcend. Good afternoon, voice of the people. What is happening in Nigeria? A lot, my brother, a lot. Okay, one from Ayobo says, good afternoon, CP Chuks and Chioma. Igbo leaders are the one that set Nnamdi Kanu up in Kenya. Weighty allegations. That's why they are ashamed to ask for his freedom. Remember that Ifeanyi Uba's private jet is the one they used to kidnap him, Kanu, from Kenya, just because of Anambra state elections that year. Now, wow, how did you know all this? I just know this message is from Dio from Fagba. Good afternoon, crew. Good afternoon, Chioma. Your president said it will continue in Buhari's legacy, making schoolboy excuses, no money, fuel scarcity, poverty in the land, inflation. With the situation of Nigeria, it is glaring that the right people are not in power. How would there be peace without justice? It is a shame. Dio from Fagba. Judiciary in Nigeria is giving out one man-made judgment of favoritism, and our constitutions are not really followed at all. Mr. Egbe from Ijegun. All right, thank you so much for your messages. I'm trying to see if there's any message that I missed, and if I missed your message, forgive me, please forgive me. I will be back on your airwaves tomorrow for the final weekly edition of Matters. Until then, I would implore you to keep praying for Nigeria. I might say, oh, prayers cannot do anything, but if it's the little we can do, maybe we should always just keep doing it. And if you wouldn't pray for Nigeria, well, at least wish her well. Wish us well. I would like to say, CP, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for making yourself available. Thank you for your analysis, for your presence, for your input. We really appreciate it wholeheartedly. And to you, my listeners, to everyone who's watching us from all around the world on YouTube, thank you so much. You are the reason we are here. You're the reason we're able to do this every single day. Voice of People loves you. We appreciate you and we thank you. We hope that your season, the Christmas season, is going well for you and yours, and we hope you will join us again tomorrow for the Friday edition of Matters. Until then, my name is Chioma Innocent. Thank you for tuning in and see you tomorrow.
Radio station. 90.3 FM, Lagos.
This is your number one radio station at VOP 90.3 FM.
Are you tired? Are you bored? Well, not anymore. Tune in to your favorite radio,